Resident Evil is one of my favorite video game series of all time. I've been playing Resident Evil from the first PlayStation all the way up until the PS5. Today we're going to be ranking all the current gen Resident Evil games. That's all the major game releases since Biohazard. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back. If you like the content, leave a like and consider subscribing. Got a lot more content coming soon. Alright, let's get into it. Coming in at number 5 is Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Biohazard was released in 2017 and was the first Resident Evil release on the current gen consoles. The game is played from the first person camera perspective and was the first game released on Capcom's RE engine. This game follows a new protagonist named Ethan as he searches for his missing wife Mia in a broken down estate in the Louisiana bayou. Once he gets there, as Ethan is searching for his wife, he starts to find out information about the Baker family who owns the property. The family is a little weird to say the least. The game plays like a classic Resident Evil game. There are plenty of mysteries and puzzles for you to solve as you run around the Baker estate looking for Mia. Many of the elements that make the series so successful are a part of Biohazard. This definitely isn't my favorite Resident Evil game though. I like the games with a little bit more action, and this is a little bit of a slow burn that does get better as you progress. Next up at number 4, we have the Resident Evil 3 remake. To me, this is probably the most underrated Resident Evil game. I'd never really hear people talk about RE3, and that does truly surprise me because I do believe that it's a good game. The original Resident Evil 3 was released in 1999, and the remake was released in 2020. The game is a third-person shooter. Like all the other Resident Evil games, you have to explore their environment, pick up items, be able to get to other locations, and solve puzzles. Jill Valentine is back from the first Resident Evil game as the main protagonist and as one of the 2 characters that you can control throughout the game. There's a supporting character named Carlos that works with Jill at times, and you can control for short periods of time throughout the game. The game takes place right before the events of Resident Evil 2. Umbrella has turned the residents of Raccoon City into walking zombies. This game introduced the infamous Resident Evil villain Nemesis into the series. He stalks Jill pretty much the entire game. Running from him definitely gets your adrenaline going. You have some pretty legendary battles with him.
Let me grab my...
Coming in at number 3, we have the Resident Evil 2 remake. Choosing between this and the next game on this list was really hard. I really enjoyed playing this. The RE2 remake was released in 2019. The game features Leon Kennedy and Claire Redfield as the main protagonists, with Ada Wong making a guest appearance. The original Resident Evil 2 was all of their introductions into the series. Both Leon and Claire just arrived at Raccoon City and got to figure out what's going on here. Leon has been stationed here as a cop. Claire is there looking for her brother Chris, who is also a cop. Both have their own single player campaigns. Both stories are a little different, but there are a couple points where both character stories intertwine and they meet for a point. The plot is well written and more is revealed as you move along in the story. It's unpredictable enough to keep you guessing, and you never really know what's going to happen next. The creep in RE2 is turned up just to the right level. You will spend a decent amount of your time in a police station running away from the tyrant Mr. X.
Jesus Christ!
The feeling of being stalked and followed while trying to complete tasks and move throughout the story feels really uneasy. At the number 2 spot, we have the Resident Evil 4 remake. Like I said before, man, it was hard for me to choose between Resident Evil 2 and 4. The RE4 remake was released in March of 2023 and is played from the third-person shooter perspective as seen in the previous game and in the other remakes. Leon Kennedy and Ada Wong return, with Leon being the main protagonist. The game takes place in rural Spain after the president's daughter has been kidnapped and Leon is sent on a mission to bring her back home. This was the first Resident Evil game to take place outside of Raccoon City. All of your favorite elements of the Resident Evil series is in the game and they're all done right. You also have some new mini games and a shooting range that was added that you can spend hours at. The thing that probably put this over RE2 for me was Mercenaries mode. That's one of my favorite elements of Resident Evil games. Alright, we're at the end of the list, and my favorite current gen Resident Evil game is Resident Evil Village or RE8. The game was released in 2021 and is played from the first person perspective. Resident Evil 8 takes place 3 years after the events of Biohazard. Ethan's life again goes to hell. Mia gets shot and his baby gets kidnapped. Now Ethan finds himself in an abandoned village trying to save his daughter. The village itself is quiet and creepy as hell. The Four Lords are some of the best villains in the entire Resident Evil series. They all have different personalities, and you face off with each one and their location of choice. You learn a lot about each one of these characters, exploring their areas. Each one has different interests, motivations, and have to be taken down differently. These differences keep the game from getting stale. They also brought back Mercenaries mode for Village, which is always a plus for me. Just like with RE4, they incorporated all of my favorite components of Resident Evil games here. Horror, great story, interesting villains, and great action. Alright, that was my order of my favorite current gen Resident Evil games. Let me know in the comments what your order would be. Also, I have full reviews of every game on this list on the channel. So if a game piques your interest and you want to find out more information about it, check out my review of it. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. Got a lot more content on the way. Alright, until next time we're out. Peace.